Welcome to the digital class. Children, by the end of the session, you can identify any object material is either metal or non-metal. The second objective of this session is you can describe the nature of a metal and non-metal. The third objective is you can explain how acids and bases are formed through the metals and non-metals. You can learn physical and chemical properties of acids and bases and metals and non-metals. You can differentiate the between acids and bases and metals and non-metals. Children, without any delay, we can go to the content. Are you ready for that? Here is the mind map. Children, now let us learn the concept of metal and non-metal. Children, now let us observe these objects carefully. What metals are looking like? Here are some objects and materials which are shown in images. Can you observe all these objects carefully? All the objects we see so far made of the same material or made with the different types of materials. What material are these objects made of? Did you know that? Children, think about it. The objects we have seen so far are not made of the same material. Some of the metals in it are made with some metals or made with some non-metals. Now, let us about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. So, here is the physical properties of metals and non-metals. The first physical property which is we learned by appearance. Children, now let us observe this video. Here is the some copper file we are taken here, transmit a light over the copper file and then observe the screen whatever shown in video, and here is the zinc file and transmit a light over the aluminum file and then observe the screen, either it is reflect the light or not. And here is the sulfur powder, observe the screen, and here is the carbon powder and observe the screen, either reflect the light or not. Now, take the iodine and observe the screen, transmit over the light here. What materials are not reflected light and what materials are reflected? What are the materials that reflect light? Children, think about it. The materials which have a bright surface and reflect light are called lustrous material, and materials that do not shine are non-lustrous. Among these materials we have seen so far, materials such as a copper, zinc, aluminum, silver and gold have a bright surface and are reflective. So, they are called as lustrous materials. Now, let us go for the second property is sonority. Children, here is the some objects, drop the copper object over the hard surface and here is the iron object on the hard surface, then observe the sounds, then you will get the different sounds, either you got the sound or not. Here is the brass object and here is sulfur powder, and then next drop the carbon on the hard surface, then next drop the iodine also. What objects are produced the sound? Children, think about it, and what objects are not produced the sound? Why is the bell made of brass object used in the temple? Think about it. Why iron bell is used in schools? What happens if you use a bell made of wood? Bells made of metals such as a copper, iron, aluminum, gold and silver produce more noise. Bells made of non-metals like carbon and sulfur will not make a sound and will explode. The wooden bell does not make a sound like metals. Metals have high sonority properties. Now, let us go for third property, that is malleability. Children, let us observe this video. So, what are they doing to turn the iron object into a flat surface? Children, watch carefully this video. And what is the person doing to turn gold into foil? what is this person doing to turn silver into foil? Can all materials be stretched into sheets? Let us check. These all metals are converted into sheets. Here is the gold, and this sheet is iron, and it is magnesium plate, and this is a silver plate, and here is a zinc plate. These materials which can be flattened into thin sheets are called malleable materials. So, now let us go for the fourth property is ductility. Children, now let us watch the video of ductility. Observe these electrical wires carefully. Children, did you observe these wires before? Yes. What is this person doing to turn silver metal into wire? Did you know this? Look at the video carefully. Can all objects be turned into wires in this way? What materials cannot be converted into wires? Now, let us check which materials are converted into wires. Here is the which metal, did you know this? These are all metals can be stretched into wires. Did you find these materials? You know these? Can you found that? These are all in the shape of wire. Yes, all these metals can be stretched into wires. This is the magnesium ribbon. The metals such as iron, gold, zinc and silver can be stretched into wires. The property of drawing a material to make a fine wires is called ductility. So, this is the property of ductility of metals. Now, let us go the fifth property of electric conductivity of metals and non-metals. Children, observe this video carefully. Already you did this experiment. Here is the required material: bulb, clips, battery, connecting wires, which are shown in the video. So, close the circuit using different plates and powders. Observe whether the bulb glow or not. Here is the in between the circuit, in between the clips we are added different types of plates of metals. Here is the iron and zinc, copper. So, either bulb glow or not. Here is the plate of zinc plate. We are inserted in between the two clips. The bulb glows. Now, let us insert a plate which is a magnesium plate. So, here also bulb glows and passes through the electricity of this sheet. Now, let us insert different plates. Now, here is the close the circuit with the copper plate. Observe whether the bulb glows. Yes, it is a bulb glow here. Children, observe this video and plates in between inserted in two clips. Yes, here is the iron rod, iron wire between these two clips. This wire allows the electricity, and here is the wooden, but this wood is not allows the electricity, that is why the bulb is not glown. So, can you note this all these materials which are glowing electricity, which are passes through the electricity, and some material which are not passes through the electricity. Now, add a plastic in between two clips. Here also not accepting the electricity. Children, observe carefully. Now, let us close the circuit using rubber. Children, is it accepting the electricity to pass through the electricity? No. Observe this video carefully. Why can't passes through the electricity some of the materials? here is the different materials we are using inserted between the two clips. This is the carbon plate. Children, think about it, why these materials are not passes electricity through them. Now, close the circuit using different powders. Here is the carbon powder we are using here. Children, observe carefully. So, here is the carbon is a non-metal, you know that why, because the first property lustrous and the second property is ductility and the third property is malleability and the fourth property is sonority. These four properties are not accepting carbon. So, the first property which is accepting carbon is that is conducting through the wire. If it is a non-metal, then only every metal which is passed through the current, but here is the carbon, but it is a non-metal, still it is passes through the electricity through them. Can you think why it is accepting the electricity? Because carbon has a different nature of atom. Children, observe carefully, and here is the iodine granules kept in the box and close the circuit. Then did you find the glowing bulb? No. So, iodine does not accepting the electricity pass through them. Now, let us take the sulfur powder in a box and close the circuit. Did you pass the current through the sulfur? No. In which material that allow electricity to pass through them? In which materials that does not allow electricity to pass through them? Here, when the materials like zinc, aluminum, magnesium, iron, copper and carbon that are allow electricity to pass through them and make the bulb to glow, these materials are called conductors. And here is the when the materials like wood, rubber, paper, plastic, iodine and sulfur that are not allow electricity to pass through them and does not make the bulb to glow, these materials are called as insulators. Children, you know the difference between these two. Now, let us learn the sixth property of heat conduction, conductivity of heat. Now, let us observe this video carefully. Here is the take an iron rod and stick pins on it with the help of wax. Now, fix the rod to a stand like whatever you shown in video and heat one end of the rod with the spirit lamp and see how pins fall off. So, why are the attached metal rods clips falling down? You know that yes, this activity clearly shows that heat moves from one end of the iron rod to the other. This property of material is known as conductivity of heat. Children, till now we learned so far physical properties of metals and non-metals. So, you know that 6 properties are we learned. The first property is lustrous property and the second one is sonority, which is makes a sound, and the first property is lustrous, which is makes and reflection of a light, and the third property is malleability, which is makes the plates of material, and the fourth property is ductility, which makes the iron wires. Any material which makes the material can convert it into the wires, and the fifth property is electric conductivity, which allows the electricity pass through them, and the last property and conduction of heat. Fourth physical property of metals and non-metals are ductility. So, which is nothing but any material which converted into the wires, and the fifth property which is electricity, that is nothing but this any material is accepting the electricity and pass through them. The last property is conduction of heat, which we can heat one end of the metal and it is converted and it is passes through the heat one end to other. So, you know these all properties, how the way you can easily identify is MS held, MS held, MSHELD. M means malleability, S for sonority, held is nothing but HELD, H for heat of the conduction, E for electricity, L for lustrous, D for ductility. Easily you can identify these 6 physical properties of metals. Okay, children, all these 6 properties till now we learned so far is very easily way you can identify all these things. Now, let us go for the chemical properties of these metals. Children, now let us go for the chemical properties of metals. Here is the chemical properties. The first property is a reaction with oxygen. Children, now let us observe this video, reaction of metal with oxygen. A reaction of oxygen with metals. Required materials are, here is magnesium, red litmus, spirit lamp and blue litmus, and some more materials, water dropper, glass rod, and here is the process. Take a small strip of magnesium and note its appearance and lit the spirit lamp like this and burn it. Note the appearance of after burning. Here is the magnesium ribbon. Collect the ashes of magnesium in a watch glass. Children, this is called magnesium oxide which forms. So, now this is the way of the spirit lamp. Here is the magnesium oxide. Now, let us, this magnesium oxide is a reaction with the water. What happens if the metal oxide is react with the water? So, this is the magnesium oxide. If you add some water to it, if you add some distilled water to it and mix it with a glass rod, children, observe this video and then test with the red litmus. Test the solution with the help of red litmus. Children, think about it, either this red litmus is converted okay, here is the light blue color is appear at the corner of the red litmus. So, it means that metals reacts with oxygen to give oxides that are basic in nature. So, basics are always turned to red litmus to blue litmus. Reaction of a non-metal with oxygen. Now, let us the process of experiment is take the sulfur small quantity in deflagrating spoon. This is the deflagrating spoon and heat the sulfur on spirit lamp. Children, be cautious, do not inhale furnace, they are harmful. The fumes here are harmful to you, and then as soon as sulfur starts burning, introduce the spoon into the glass jar or tumbler, cover the tumbler with the lid of ensure that the gas produced does not escape, and remove the spoon. Then now let us add the, this is the reaction of non-metal oxide. If you add some water to it, then what happens? Now let us observe. So, remove the spoon after some time and try out. Now shake it, then shake the tumbler well, check the solution with red litmus and blue litmus papers and record the changes. So, children, did you observe red litmus is not converted and here is the blue litmus is converted into red. These two reactions which are did just now, one is red converted into blue and other is blue converted into red. So, if you add different litmus papers, they are not changing their colors. So, in that we can learn that acids are convert blue litmus paper into red litmus and bases are converted red litmus paper into blue litmus. Now, non-metals reacts with oxygen to give oxides which are acidic in nature. So, now let us go for reaction with water. Acids react with water. Here is the reaction of metal with water. What happens if reaction of water with metal? Children, here is the petri dish and this is the phenolphthalein indicator. Add some phenolphthalein indicator to the petri dish which contains the water and add zinc metals with the help of a spatula. It is stored in kerosene. Why? Because it is so reactive. Add it. Children, observe carefully why it is reactive so fast with water and how the way the water can convert it into the turn to the red color. Why? Because the with the help of a phenolphthalein is the way of the water can convert it into the pink color. So, now non-metals do not react with water. Here is the metal zinc, that is why it is acted and non-metals do not act. Now, reaction with acids. Observe this video carefully children. Process of the experiment is, here is the test tube, add some zinc granules to the test tube and take hydrochloric acid and drop the small quantity of hydrochloric acid to it. Then you will get the hydrogen gas and lit the matchstick, it put off and it will get the pop sound and touch your finger at the bottom of the test tube, you will get the heat. This indicates that exothermic reaction, right. This is the exothermic reaction and the residue of the bottom you can find out that non-metals do not react with acids. Okay, children, till now we learn the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, how the way metals are react with oxygen, how the way the metals and non-metals are react with oxygen and with the water and with the acids. Some metals are react with the acids and non-metals does not react with the acids. So, this is the way we can learn chemical properties and physical properties of metals and non-metals. Till now we learn, so far we learn physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Children, with the help of this knowledge we can evaluate some questions. Did you ready? Okay, here is the evaluation. Whatever we learn, based on which properties can we determine an object or material as a metal or non-metal? Explain how salts form when metals react. State the relationship between acid bases and metals non-metals. Project work. Identify the metals, non-metals and acids bases in your home and make a report and show it to your teacher. Okay, children, did you learn very well? Whatever you learn just now, the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals are very well understood. I hope all the concepts we learned just now is very good. Okay, you will meet a new topic with a lots of enthusiasm of a new lesson.